I was originally going to start this video with a really bad gag saying something along the lines of, "Wow, look at how much time has passed by since I uploaded my last video." And then I realized, oh crap, I'm not wearing a watch at this time. At this time, not wearing a watch. Wow. I am making really bad puns today, unintentionally. This is bad. I should really get on fixing that watch. But anyway, guys, what's up? Steve here. And in all seriousness, it has been a very long time since I made my last video. The last video that I uploaded to YouTube was a video that I took of a trip that I went to on my birthday. And that was back in September. But alas, I ended up taking a little bit of a hiatus from making videos for a number of reasons. The very short way of explaining it is that things got really busy, and there were certain things that I really wanted to do, and I had to cut certain things out of my schedule in order to do them, and not burn out. YouTube is not something that I do full-time. It's a hobby that I have, and video making has been a hobby of mine ever since I was a little kid. But it's not what I do as a full-time job. I work as a programmer. Recently, I've been undertaking a lot of different projects in that regard, and in one of them I am the technical lead developer. So in regards to that, I've been keeping myself very busy. And not only that, but I decided to work on a couple of different side projects. I've been trying to freshen up on my writing in a couple of different ways. One of those ways is me writing kind of a comical autobiographic story of how I made a really bad short film when I was a teenager. And the other thing that I was working on, which honestly has been a huge stretch for me because as you guys know, I mostly do comedic stuff now, is basically my first real attempt at a dramatic screenplay. There are comic undertones to it, but the story is a pretty serious subject matter, and I wanted to write it because it holds a very special place in my heart, and it's a story I've been wanting to tell for quite some time. And for a long time, I wasn't really sure how to tell it. And I decided, you know what? I love movies, and this is something that I feel like I could do. Let's go ahead and see if we can write a screenplay. And again, as I mentioned, even though I usually do comedic stuff, and even though this does have comic undertones in some places, it's a very serious story, and for me, a very personal story. I don't want to get into any real details, but it's one that involves loss and grief, which is something that I've dealt with in my life, and is something that everybody can relate to, or at some point in their lives will be able to relate to. So it's one of those things that I thought I could put a little bit of a unique spin on and put it down on paper and maybe someday get on the screen. I don't know. But it was something that I wanted to get out. I actually want to bring something up, kind of a segue, but I also don't want to forget to say it. One of the things that ended up happening last year that ended up taking a lot of time out of my schedule, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I'm just saying that I had to devote a huge amount of my time to this, was that my oldest sister, as I mentioned in a video almost a year ago now, was admitted to the hospital, and she was in a very terrible state, and we weren't really sure what was going to happen. And we set up a GoFundMe for that, and I advertised it on YouTube. And first off, thank you so much for everybody who donated to that. It means so much. You guys helped out a ton. And even if you shared it, thank you very much. What I want to say now is that she's doing much better, and we couldn't have gotten to the point we are without you guys' help. Thank you very much. But with that being said, with all of that going on, it was already kind of hard to deal with. In addition to all the other work that I was doing, the job that I have, my real full-time job where I was taking on lead development responsibility, was getting extremely stressful in combination with that. And I had already started writing this really tough screenplay about grief. I had to go to a very sad and dark place to get in the mindset of the character that I was writing about. And I had to really think about certain things that had happened in my past and certain things that are hypothetical situations that could relate to what this character was going through. Because one of the things you have to do when you're writing a story is put your character through hell. If you want your story to be interesting and you want to really strike a powerful note with your story and with your character. And if you want your character to change and show your character as a changeable character, you need to put them through some very serious circumstances. And me going through that and actually putting myself in that place to where I could put the character through that in combination with all this other stuff kind of made me burn out a little bit. And I was getting pretty close to getting seriously depressed because all this stuff was going on. So I had to sit down and I had to say, okay, I've got to really think about how I'm going to prioritize this stuff. Sorry for mispronouncing the word prioritize there. I'm tired, guys. I knew that I had to take the lead development responsibility at the job that I have. I knew that I had to be there for the family stuff that was going on. And I really wanted to write this screenplay. And I also wanted to keep making videos, but I figured if I really want to write this screenplay, and if I need to do all this other stuff as well, and not get burnt out, and not spend every waking minute in a depressed state, or getting close to a depressed state, then I needed to make sure that I wasn't doing way too much that was bringing me to this really dark state. And I decided, okay, for a while, I think maybe I should stop making videos. So I did. I'm sorry I went on a little bit of a hiatus without warning, because honestly, at first, I didn't think it would be this long. I thought it would be one of those ones that was kind of unnoticeable. But it ended up being pretty long. And honestly, I stopped writing that screenplay for a while because it was still getting to be a little too much to actually go to that dark place and write about such a dark subject matter. But time has gone by, and I feel like I'm ready to actually come back to the platform and start making some new content. And that's something else that I would like to address. So those of you who have been following my channel for a really, really long time have known that my channel hasn't always really followed some sort of pattern. I've pretty much done whatever I wanted to do on the channel. When I was young, when I first started the channel, I started making my own short films and posting them on there. Some of them were made with The Sims 2. Really terrible Sims 2 films. And then I started experimenting with music, and then I started doing vlogs, and then I started doing comedic skits, and then I started doing movie reviews. And I got a lot of praise in very small corners of YouTube for every single one of those things, pretty much. Even the really bad Sims 2 movies. Just goes to show there's a market for everything. And while I can't stick to every single one of those things all the time, I've always found myself wanting to dabble a little bit in every single one of those things again. I've always wanted to experiment with music a little bit, even though I haven't done it very much. I really love playing the keyboard and experimenting with music. I like coming up with ideas for stories and narratives, and have tried to get back into writing a little bit. So I've always wanted to play around with the idea of doing a narrative short film or making another comedy skit. And I like doing movie reviews as well, even though I don't really like complaining about movies. More so I like to discuss the positive aspects of ones that I really, really love. With all of that being said, I've thought about jumping back into a little bit of all of those things, if possible. I've thought about starting vlogging again. Not daily, and maybe not even weekly, but, you know, doing some intermittent vlogging just to keep you guys updated and share some stuff that's going on in my life, and my thoughts on things. And I'm probably going to do movie reviews still, and movie analyses, and things about my thoughts on movies, and things that are specific to movies and film in general. But probably not as much as I was last year. Speaking of which, for those of you who don't know, I did a reaction to the Oscar nominations last year. I'm planning on doing that again this year, so hopefully, if I have the time and I'm able to do it, I'm planning on doing a reaction video to the Oscar nominations. And the Oscar nominations are next week, so stay tuned. And another thing is, I'd like to get back into making narrative series and skits and that kind of stuff. One of the ideas that I've been playing around with is actually shooting a bunch of material at a certain point, and then taking some time to edit it all, and then releasing it intermittently as a series. That way I don't have to devote as much time to it, because one of the things that I've learned as I get older, and as I have more and more things to do, is that you have to divide out time for certain things. So even if you plan it out, sometimes it doesn't go the way you wanted. And I would like to try and streamline this stuff as much as I can so that not only am I getting stuff done that I want to get done without burning out, but I can also keep people happy who enjoy watching my content. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to keep you posted on why I took a little bit of a hiatus and some of the things that I'm planning on doing in the near future. And that's all for tonight. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you later.